Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video, but I'm going to talk about TikTok and the pivot. Everybody's pivoting right now because they know that's where the money is, right? America has definitely sent a huge signal to Hollywood and the media and to social media that there are a lot more conservatives, or at least conservative-leaning people in this country. But we're going to talk mostly about TikTok. Because TikTok has been, from my vantage point, the new Tumblr. It's been the new Twitter. It's been a very left-leaning platform. I mean, there are pretty normal people on there, but if anybody gets political, they definitely seem to lean left and very, very far left. This is where a lot of the insanity is coming from. Especially now, since last Tuesday, we have a lot of women screaming, a lot of women crying, a lot of women even calling for harm against dudes. I mean, it's really crazy. I mean, there's a whole account, right? The libs of TikTok. And I definitely thought TikTok was more left. We actually have a TikTok account we do not use very much. I think we have like 30 or 40,000 subs over there, but I'm kind of like, I don't think our content's going to resonate with these people because we're older and my politics haven't changed since like 1995, but apparently I'm considered more conservative now. And I don't know how we would do over there, right? But now, according to the information, TikTok is actively courting conservatives. They were courting conservatives before Trump's win, and now they're going all in. Again, this is just another indicator that the winds of change are coming, that all these media sources, all these social media platforms are all going to pivot because they're like, oh my God, the majority of customers tend to lean right, or at least they're not crazy. They're not far left. I think that's probably more appropriate. They're not far left. So let's talk about this. It could be the fact that TikTok just wants to save its ass and TikTok doesn't want to get deported, right? Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Go out to clownfish-.com. Check out our Plus Club. It's actually a minus club. That's kind of the joke. And check out some of the products that we have out there. We've got hats and shirts and pins. We got more stuff coming, so thank you for the support. Yeah, this is coming from the information. How TikTok courted conservatives before Trump's win. They said more than a year before Trump's landslide victory, TikTok's top leaders insisted on a major platform shift in the app's content moderation principles to make the platform more appealing for Trump and his supporters. They knew which way the wind was blowing. Yeah, and look, remember, the Chinese version of TikTok is very, very different from the American version of TikTok. The Chinese version is not nearly as crazy because Chinese culture and the CCP and all that. In a series of internal meetings, U.S. Public Policy Chief Michael Beckerman, backed up by the CEO Xu Zhishu, argued that the content moderation policies TikTok then had enforced had turned the app into a platform that appealed mostly to the liberal half of the U.S. population. Yeah, that is true. TikTok, again, my experience, and we've had a TikTok account for a few years now, and I kind of pull back on it because I'm like, I don't know if they're going to ban TikTok or not. So I don't want to spend any time over there if they're going to ban it, but also felt like you were deep into quote unquote enemy territory because there are a lot of very, very far left people over there that I'm sorry, they're not going to like the things that we have to say, even though we're pretty moderate, right? They said that according to two people with knowledge of the discussions, this is the case. Beckerman cited examples of videos that had been removed by TikTok's trust and safety team, including some that contained socially conservative statements on topics such as transgender people, and they wanted to know why they had been removed. The top leaders pushed through content moderation changes that made TikTok more accepting of some conservative views on the fairness of elections or transgender rights, including by updating policies on banned content or enforcing them differently. These changes came despite fierce opposition from the app's trust and safety team that on occasion led to shouting matches between people on both sides of the issue. So I'm hearing, and I think It's a Gundam posted it on Twitter, that internally at YouTube, there's something going on. A whole bunch of their people had to take personal days off because of the election. They're crushed. And I'm going to go on record. I'll go on record saying over the past few months on YouTube, our views flatlined. Like, we weren't reaching new people. They were showing our videos to people that had subscribed to us, but they weren't showing our videos to anybody outside of our subscribers. And even some of our subscribers are like, you're not showing up on the For You page anymore, on the homepage. And that's the first time that, I can remember this happening where it was very noticeable. I'm like, man, we're actually covering trending topics and we're not even, in the first couple of results. What is going on here? And I believe, this is just my opinion. I'm going to say, I'll say it right on YouTube. I don't give a shit. We've been on YouTube for a very long time, but I think that somebody at YouTube or some buddies at YouTube were actively deboosting, not shadow banning, because you'd still come up in the search results, right? But actively deboosting our videos, not just our videos. I think anybody who they think leans conservative or they think is politically right. And I noticed it about 2 or 3 months ago. I'm like, why are things just like falling off a cliff here? I do not understand. And, we actually had videos about us that were ranking higher than our own videos, and that has never happened before. And this is kind of like they were trying to say, hey, we weren't shadow banning Joe Rogan in the Trump interview, but you could see that videos about Joe Rogan interviewing Trump trended above Joe Rogan's actual video, right? So somebody at YouTube is doing something or was doing something. And then as soon as the election was over, I swear to God, it just stopped. It just stopped. So I think that they probably had some activists, again, just speculation on my part, pure speculation, but I think they had some activists at YouTube that were pushing some buttons, whatever they push, just like how Twitter denied that they were deboosting conservative voices. And Elon Musk found out that, no, this is actually true. It's 100% true. I think they're doing the same thing with YouTube channels. And I don't know if it's really even your content. I think they look at your audience. One thing I've learned with YouTube over the past couple of years is what videos get shown depends largely on your audience and not so much on your subject matter. They look for lookalike audiences. So even if we're not super political, if they're subscribed to other channels that are, they're going to take that as a cue. No pun intended. They're going to take it as a QAnon. No, they're going to take it as a cue to be like, yeah, this channel must be political too, because they subscribe to, Fox News and The Quartering and Tim Pool and stuff too. And so you are basically what your audience is, or who your audience is on YouTube. So yeah, I think they're totally doing it. So the long and short of it is, can I see them getting into a screaming match at TikTok? Absolutely. Especially if they have a bunch of activists working at TikTok. They said the Trust and Safety Team's Ireland-based global chief, Cormac Keenan, ended up stepping down earlier this year. In April, this is Adam Presser, Chew's right-hand man, announced updates to TikTok's community guidelines. TikTok switched from barring misinformation about civic and electoral processes regardless of intent to saying it could remove it if it interfered with voting, disrupted the peaceful transfer of power, or promoted violence. Why are all the videos where a lot of women actually are fetishizing violence against men who voted against Harris, why are they all allowed on the platform? If this is the case, right? It needs to be evenly enforced. And they have a whole thing where they're talking about like poisoning men and all that. And I'm like, take those off your platform, because some crazy motherfucker is going to get an idea to go do that to somebody. Somebody that works in a restaurant can be like, that person over there is wearing a MAGA hat, I better poison them. And shit's going to go down. The people that use TikTok, a lot of them, there are a lot of mentally ill people. They talk about all the problems that YouTube has. They talk about all the problems that podcasts have. Podcast listeners tend to be, on average, more intelligent than the average TikTok user, in my opinion. So, yeah. Anyway, they said in practice, that meant TikTok would stop removing claims that Trump won the 2020 election, though staff could prevent such posts from appearing on a user's For You page. There it is. They could manually deboost those videos. They said, according to another person with knowledge on the matter, TikTok moderators respond to posts flagged by its software as well as complaints to the app. So yeah, people could be false flagging you. It could be their AI, or it could be somebody at the company that just wants to stop your videos from being seen. TikTok execs justified the changes internally because they consider them acceptable topics of conservative discourse. According to this person, the person close to TikTok said the intent of the changes was to make sure the app appealed to everyone, not just to court conservatives. No, they know that they know that the winds are changing. They know that they cannot alienate conservatives because there are a lot more people that voted for Trump than didn't vote for Trump. And things are changing. If you do that, you're dead in the water because people are going to go to platforms that let you speak your mind. Right. And YouTube is going to be in the same boat. Like YouTube has got to be more fair. They actually actively deplatformed people for their political views. And I'm not talking, hateful rhetoric. I'm just talking just straight up conservative views. They were banning people, right? And or deboosting them or shadow banning them. So it's. I mean, this is a tricky situation. And Trump said whether he does it or not, I have no idea, right? I don't know if he's going to do what he says he's going to do. A lot of people make promises or talk out of their ass to get elected, and then once they get elected, they don't actually do it. But he did say that he was going to make damn sure that social media platforms are fair politically. Again, he personally has an axe to grind, but it is a huge problem. It really is. I mean, over the last 3 or 4 years, it's been absolutely miserable for anybody that has even a slightly conservative leaning audience to get found on social media. Because I think we have people working at these companies who are actively working against people. They're like, God forbid we create another Joe Rogan or another Alex Jones, or what I'm saying? They said TikTok's relaxation of rules around what it allows in the app follows similar changes to Twitter after Elon Musk, now a Trump ally, acquired it in 2022. The changes demonstrate how social media firms have started to loosen content moderation policies they instituted in 2020 and 2021 in response to Black Lives Matters. It was before that, but yeah, that really whacked the beehive. Such changes could make it easier for others, such as Meta, to take similar actions. Mark Zuckerberg said Trump looked badass after he got shot. Is he allowed to say that? And he actually said he literally said the government was pressuring him to censor content. So the ban threat definitely has something to do with it. They said the ban threats have simmered. TikTok senior execs saw the potential to broaden the app's appeal and bring in more conservatives, including Trump himself. They wanted Trump to join the platform in part because he was expected to win the nomination and had the power to influence the country's perception of TikTok. At one point, they called the prospect of Trump winning and Republicans gaining control of the House and the Senate the best case scenario for TikTok, according to a person who heard the comments. Yeah, remember, Biden is the one who was pushing for the TikTok ban. To have Trump and his supporters join TikTok, the app first needed to change its approach to content moderation. So trust and safety wouldn't remove too many videos from those users. According to the people with knowledge of TikTok's internal discussions, the changes that followed the departure of this other guy brought TikTok's trust and safety function closer to top leadership. Previously, the team had long operated with a degree of independence from the rest of TikTok. So basically, we had trust and safety run amok. They said Trump joined TikTok in June and his videos immediately went viral. Yeah, so this is what they're afraid of. Because we just did a video earlier today talking about the mainstream media and how they're losing to social media, right? And what they're afraid of is that if they give conservatives an equal voice, they will dominate the platform. The only way that they can win, the only way they can push far left ideology is to kneecap conservative voices or even moderate voices in some cases. If you're not completely on board the far left crazy train, then you're not going to get found, right? So they want to survive, right? And they're also going to suck up to Trump because they don't want to get banned in the US. That's really telling, though. As soon as Trump goes on TikTok, he goes viral, like deep in enemy, quote unquote, enemy territory, and he goes viral. They didn't want any conservatives to have equal footing. And the same thing happens on YouTube. You put conservatives and liberals on equal footing on YouTube, and sheer numbers, 9 times out of 10, the conservatives tend to get found organically. So what they were doing, again, in my opinion, is dampening the conservative voices, because Rogan was huge on YouTube, right? That's how he got the huge Spotify deal. Alex Jones was huge on YouTube. And so the only way they could, quote unquote, win was to take those people out of play. And now that it's very, very obvious that a lot of the country leans that way, if you want to stay in business, you're going to have to level the playing field, right? And people are going to scream about it. There's always Blue Sky. You can go to Blue Sky. That's where all the 2017 Twitter users are going. They said it's obviously something that we want to use to court young conservatives and then maybe bring some over some young independents. And clearly that paid off. The Trump campaign didn't respond for requests for comment. TikTok also wanted to get conservative-leaning media personalities like Tucker Carlson and Fox News on TikTok. Carlson last year decamped to Musk's X, where he hosts live shows. He also streams on YouTube and his own app. Carlson's representative didn't respond to requests for comment. Why would you go to TikTok? It's kind of like, it's like the anti-Rumble, right? Like, people weren't going to Rumble because they thought it was just right-wing talking heads. Well, if you're a right-wing talking head, you're not going to go to TikTok because that, most of the people that were over there, at least the people you saw based on the algorithm, they were vehemently against Trump. A lot of them were vehemently against sanity. Why the hell would you go into enemy territory like that? Said having Fox News on the app in contrast was a high priority, according to 2 people involved with the effort, in part because TikTok rivals like YouTube already had Fox. And at the same time, TikTok wanted to publish more professionally generated content and videos longer than a minute. Commentators on Fox had also been criticizing TikTok over its ties to China. That's interesting. They said, yeah, Fox has 1.4 million followers in just a few months. It's clear there's a strong appetite for Fox News content on the platform. So yeah, they're all freaking out. I'm telling you, when you level the playing field, you actually see what America looks like. The reason that so many celebrities and so many people in the mainstream media were caught off guard is that there were people pulling the levers, I believe, at these social media companies, and you never got to see what America actually looked like. Now we do, and it's shocking. And if you want to stay in business, you got to remember that Republicans buy shoes too. Google that. So I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later. Join the reef. Go to clownfish-.com. That's clownfish-.com. You will get exclusive access to podcasts and videos and comic strips and more, as well as merch discounts. Check it out. If you were a member, you could get this t-shirt, this dismal t-shirt, on our website. You'd get a 10% discount on that. You can also join in the community on clownfish-.com. Thank you so much for the support.